The Thomas and Uber Cups returned in October 2021 in the Danish city of Aarhus after the tournament was postponed last year due to the global pandemic. 16 teams each contested the most prestigious men's and women's World Team Championships with one goal in mind. Hello and welcome to the TotalEnergies BWF Thomas and Uber Cup Finals Review Show. Fresh from winning the Sudirman Cup for a record-extending 12th time, China were keen to ride on their wave of success. Their men's team arrived in Aarhus as the Thomas Cup champions, while their women's team were on a mission to redeem themselves after going down to Thailand in the semi-final stage at the last edition 3 years ago. The Chinese women showed their superiority early on, winning all 3 ties against Canada, Malaysia and Denmark in Group D, with the same lopsided scoreline of 5-0.
And that's a lovely hold and flick from Wang Ziyi.
Holders Japan also roared into the quarterfinals without much fuss, cruising to victories over France, Germany and Indonesia. 4 teams were unbeaten in the group stage, with Thailand also maintaining a perfect record against Scotland, Spain and India. Korea, meanwhile, advanced to the last 8 as Group C winners after beating Chinese Taipei 4-1 in the last group tie. Top-seeded Japan proved too strong for India in the quarter-final as Akane Yamaguchi, Yuki Fukushima, Mayu Matsumoto and Sayaka Takahashi demolished their opponents without losing a game for a convincing 3-0 victory. China followed up the act with a 3-0 win over Chinese Taipei. Tokyo Olympics champion Chen Yufei, women's doubles silver medalists Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan, and world number 9 He Bingtiao had little trouble dispatching their Chinese Taipei counterparts. Korea made sure there was no fairy tale ending for the Danes. An Se-young, Lee So-hee, Shin Seung-chan and Kim Ga-eun winning their matches for a 3-0 sweep. Thailand, meanwhile, were putting up a brave fight against Indonesia. The tie began with a close back-and-forth battle between Pompawi Chochuwong and Gregoria Mariska Tunjung in the singles.
And that's a beautiful shot.
Pompawi came back from a game down to beat Tunjung 14-21, 21-10, 21-10. The following doubles match also went the distance, with Gracia Poli and Apriani Rahayu seeing off the battling Jongkolpan Kititarakul and Rawinda Prajongjai in the decider.
Indonesia takes it 21-19.
The 2018 runners-up then retook the lead through Busanan Ongbangrupan, who beat 19-year-old Putri Kusuma Wardani in straight games.
And third time of asking.
But Indonesia would pull level once again in the doubles before Pitayapon Chaiwan clinched the final point in the deciding rubber, beating 16-year-old Esther Nurumi Tri Wardoyo 25-23, 21-8. After more than 6 hours, Thailand were through to play China for a ticket to the final. Thailand sprang a surprise when Ratchanok Intanon joined the team ahead of the semi-final. The world number 6, however, hasn't played since the Olympics, and her match against Chen Yufei unexpectedly lasted less than 5 minutes, as the Thai star retired when down 2-5 in the first game due to a shoulder injury. It wasn't the start Thailand had planned for. It left their doubles pairing of Rawinda Prajongjai and Putita Supajirakul facing the pressing task of beating Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan.
Oh, that's really clever play from Chen Qingchen.
The Thai duo went toe-to-toe with the Tokyo 2020 silver medalists at the beginning, but Chen and Jia stepped up a couple of gears to win in straight games, 21-15, 21-10, as China doubled their advantage. He Bingtiao, who had remained unbeaten in the tournament, put on a clinical display to stroll past Cho Chu-wong, as China avenged their semi-final loss at the last edition and went through to the Uber Cup final for a record extending 18 times. Japan were 2 wins from retaining the Yuba Cup. Standing in their way to a second successive final was a Korean team with great confidence. Fearless teenage sensation An Soo-young started well and was finding her top form against Akane Yamaguchi in the first match of the tie.
Excellent defense by An Soo-young.
The world number 8 brushed aside the resistance of Yamaguchi to win 21-14, 21-7. Lee So-hee and Shin Seung-chun then looked to double Korea's advantage in the doubles. The world number 4 pair narrowly edged past Yuko Fukushima and Mayu Matsumoto in the first game. The second game remained tight, but the Japanese scratch pair were able to make better adjustments.
Boy, that's a beauty of a shot.
They managed to find their way back with a more aggressive approach to force a decider, and then went on to finish the comeback, winning 19-21, 21-16, 21-14. In the second singles match, Kim Ga-eun and Sayaka Takahashi clashed for the second time in their careers, with the Japanese winning their only meeting in the second round of the Denmark Open 2 years ago.
She's come from behind, Kim Ga-eun, and taken this first game here.
Takahashi regrouped in a closely contested second game to force a decider, and then raised a game in the third to oust Kim 18-21, 21-18, 21-14, as Japan came from behind to take a 2-1 lead. That put Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young in a must-win situation, as they needed to beat Nami Matsuyama and Misaki Matsutomo to keep Korea's progression hopes alive. But the Japanese pair had a head start. Their superior court coverage allowed them to dominate the longer rallies, stamping their authority early on. A close first game ended 21-18, and although Kim and Kong upped their level in the second, the more experienced Japanese duo were able to reply.
Boy, that's a beautiful shot. What a save!
After the score tied at 17-all, Matsuyama and Matsutomo went on to claim 4 of the next 5 points for a 21-18 win and seal a 3-1 victory for Japan. After inflicting revenge on Thailand in the last 4, a charged-up China moved closer to reclaim the Yuba Cup. Chen Yufei, looking to avenge her loss to Akane Yamaguchi at the Sudirman Cup, took an early lead in the first game. A determined Yamaguchi, however, capitalized on some careless plays from the Olympic champion as she started to take charge after the break.
Oh, that's quick. Look how quickly in she is there.
Yamaguchi was showing confidence in her pace, committing fewer errors, and her court covering was most impressive of all. The world number 5 outplayed Chen in straight games to secure the first point for Japan. The second game had fans on the edge of their seats as Yuki Fukushima and Mayu Matsumoto took on Cheng Chin Chen and Jia Yifan.
Brilliant. My goodness me.
Fantastic place.
Both teams had shown incredible fighting spirit. The Japanese duo came back from 3 points down to set up game points in the opener.
Desperation defense. Oh, that's
Fantastic
right.
defense. Amazing.
But the Chinese pair were even tougher, saving 7 game points before winning 29-27.
She's got it back. Brilliant. And the opening game.
Credit to Fukushima and Matsumoto as they showed great persistence to stay in the match. They were rewarded a decider by winning the second 21-15.
It's 1 game all.
There was no letdown from both teams in the third. At the end, it was just 3 points separating the pairs.
They've done it on their third match point opportunity.
The more adventurous Chen and Tia won it 21-18, and Chen, who had hurt herself on match point, collapsed in a flood of tears. He Bingtiao then gave China a 2-1 lead by beating Sayaka Takahashi in straight games.
What a shot from He Bingtiao.
The world number 9 maintained a perfect record in this tournament, winning all her 6 matches and only lost a game to Denmark's Line Kristoffersen. And it took 44 minutes for her to get the job done, winning 21-9, 21-18 and handing a 2-1 lead to China. The second doubles match was equally competitive, and it also bore the same storyline, with Huang Dongping and Li Wenmei showing the same resolve against Misaki Matsutomo and Nami Matsuyama.
Oh, that's brilliant. What a super shot.
Huang and Li took inspiration from their number one doubles team to fend off the challenge from their Japanese opponents, saving one game point before converting their own to take the lead. The pairs continued to go back and forth in the second, and the Chinese duo once again showed their resilience, saving 4 game points before winning 23-21.
They've done it.
China lift the Yuba Cup for the 15th time with a 3-1 win over Japan.
A 15th time that China have the honour of lifting the Yuba Cup.
The Chinese women's shuttlers completed the redemption. Can their men's team continue their domination in the Thomas Cup? We'll find out after the break.
Badminton at its very, very best. Badminton at its very, very best.
Welcome back to the TotalEnergies BWF Thomas and Yuba Cup Finals review show. We now turn our attention to the men's team competition. 13-time winners Indonesia had a nerve-jangling time in Group A. After thumping Algeria 5-0, they had a rough ride against Thailand and Chinese Taipei. The two ties weren't easy, but the Southeast Asian giants edged past both 3-2 to win the group.
That's going to be it. It's a massive win for Ustavito, but boy, he had to work hard for it.
The other spot went to Thailand, who pulled off the upset of the tournament, a 3-2 comeback win over Chinese Taipei on opening day.
Sapanyu Avahingssanon has pulled a rabbit from the hat today.
Host Denmark subdued fellow European teams France and Germany before their final round of group play against Korea to determine the winners of Group B.
That is really good.
And the 2016 winners, spearheaded by Victor Axelsen and Anders Antonsen, produced a clinical 4-1 victory to ace the group. Meanwhile, holders China cruised through Group C, sweeping past the Netherlands, Tahiti and India.
Fantastic smash.
India filled up the other automatic spot. And to Group D, which was contested by just 3 teams after England's pullout due to a spate of injuries. Japan and Malaysia clashed after easing their way past Canada. Kenta Momota outlasting Li Zitia in an 80-minute classic to lead Japan to a 4-1 triumph. Top seeds Indonesia were pitted against traditional rivals Malaysia, a rematch of their last 8 showdown in 2018. A mouth-watering first singles between Anthony Sinisuka Ginting and Li Zitia kick-started proceedings, but it failed to live up to the hype. Ginting only required 38 minutes to dismiss Li's challenge, 21-15, 21-17 the score.
Anthony Ginting takes the first men's singles.
Marcus Fernaldi-Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo avenged their recent 2 losses to Aaron Chia and Soe Yik when they overcame the Malaysians in 3 games. While Jonathan Christie beat Eung Tzu Young to seal a 3-0 win, and Indonesia went one step closer to recapturing the trophy they last won 19 years ago. Victor Axelsen and Anders Antonsen continued their fine form in front of the home fans as they secured victories in the singles matches for Denmark in their quarter-final tie against India. Matthias Christiansen and Fredrik Søgaard won the second doubles to make it 3-1 to send the hosts to the semi-final for the 3rd straight time. Next in line against the Chinese juggernaut were Thailand, and the tone was quickly set by Shi Yu Chi, who made light work of Kantapon Wangchuran.
Very tense rally here. Kantapon doing his best to try and save it, but Shiuchi comes through in the end.
1 became 2 after the first doubles.
And that seals it.
In the battle of the debutants, Li Shifeng prevailed over Kunlavut-Vititsan after 70 minutes, and China marched on.
And with that, Li Shifeng has secured the win for China.
To the last quarter-final matchup between Japan and Korea, an instant classic it was. Hyo Kwang-hee, all eager to prove his win over world number 1 Kento Momota at the Tokyo Olympics, was no fluke.
Oh, he's done it. At the third time of asking. 21-19.
And it was deja vu in Aarhus for Momota, who was second best again to the world number 33.
He's done it, and he's given Korea a flying start here. What a result.
It got even better for the Koreans when their top doubles pairing of Choi Sol-gyu and Seo Seung-jae comfortably took care of Takuro Hoki and Yugo Kobayashi.
Only needed the one. That's a massive win. It was a destruction, really.
Japan on the ropes now, but Kanta Tsuneyama ensured there was no sweep as he outclassed Jeon Hyuk-jin in straight games.
Well, Japan needed some inspiration from somewhere, and they found it through Kanta Tsuneyama.
Akira Koga and Yuta Watanabe then combined to win the second doubles, gifting the neutrals this deciding rubber. Kenta Nishimoto completed the comeback with a confident victory over newcomer Cho Gyeon-yeol.
Well, nothing like doing it the hard way.
Positive vibes surrounding the Danish camp ahead of their semi-final showdown with Indonesia. The first singles saw Anthony Sinisuka Ginting pitted against the red-hot home favourite Victor Axelsen. The Olympic champion has not tasted defeat since his heroics in Tokyo and laid down an early marker by taking the first game.
Ginting just can't get anything going.
Ginting kicked up a gear in the second game, but it was still not enough to overcome Axelsen.
Well, it was great retrieving by Axelsen.
The world number 2 never looked back after stringing 6 straight points either side of the midway break.
And the match is getting to Axelsen. That point goes against Ginting. He doesn't like it. Axelsen takes the second game.
Indonesia in need of stability, and they swiftly got it in the form of the Minions. Their world number 1 doubles pair of Marcus Fernalde Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo was simply too good for Kim Astrup and Anders Skarup Rasmussen as they secured their 8th win in 9 meetings with the Danish duo. The second singles turned out to be pivotal. For 100 minutes, Jonathan Christie and Anders Antonsen were like a pair of heavyweight boxers going at each other.
How did he get that one? That is fantastic play.
Antonsen came charging out of the blocks in the decider, but Christie fought his way back to win the contest, putting Indonesia 2-1 up.
So it's Christie.
Lovely, lovely play from Christie. As that is out.
And that's the end of it, 21-16. You've got to give Christie massive amounts of credit.
A straightforward win for Fajar Alfian and Muhammad Rian Ardianto in the second doubles took their country through to their 20th Thomas Cup final. The other semi-final served up the opportunity for Japan to avenge their 2018 final defeat to China. Both sides sent out their big hitters for the first singles. China's Shi Yu-chi was looking good to clinch the first game against Kento Momota.
Oh yes, super from Shi Yu-chi.
But the 25-year-old would suffer a meltdown, opening the door for Momota.
Oh, it's missed. And Kento Momota deserved that opening game.
The world number 11's woes continued in the second game.
And again, Momota with a super cross block off the forehand.
And Momota very quickly brought up match point.
There's been mention of retiring, but what, at this stage with 1 point to go, maybe? That seems a sad way to conclude the issue.
China needed something, and their first doubles didn't disappoint. He Jiting and Zhou Haodong outlasting Takuro Hoki and Yuta Watanabe in 73 minutes to level things up.
Oh, what a decisive finish. 21-16 in the third game.
Breakout star Li Shifeng was then tasked to keep up China's challenge as he faced world number 14 Kanta Tsuneyama in the second singles. The 21-year-old Li was fearless and delivered an almost flawless win over Tsuneyama.
Off with the shirt. Emotion never too far away.
China on the ascendancy entering the second doubles. And the pairing of Wang Yi Liu, mixed doubles gold medalist at the Tokyo Olympics, and Liu Cheng, a former world champion, didn't disappoint. They last teamed up in 2017, and the telepathic understanding was still purring. Wang and Liu sealing China's 13th trip to the final with an easy win over Akira Koga and Taichi Saito. And there we have it. Two of the most successful teams in Thomas Cup history left standing following 8 days of intense competition. China's prospects took a hit though, as Shi Yuqi was left out of the lineup due to injury. In his place for the first singles matchup was Lu Guangzu, who interestingly is 1 day older than his opponent, Anthony Sinisuka Ginting. The pair of 25-year-olds was inseparable until Lu kicked up a gear late on to nick the opening game.
That's going wide. Opening game to China.
Ginting's big match experience started to tell though, as he took the second game at a canter.
Here we go. It was indeed out.
Indonesia getting the perfect start they craved. And victory in the first double stanza would bring them another step closer to destiny.
He's
Behind the back.
That's a wonderful save.
There's too much attacking play at the moment.
Fajar Alfian and Muhammad Rian Ardianto have been a picture of confidence over the past week, and whatever the Chinese duo of He Jiting and Zhou Haodong threw at them, it was duly thwarted. Hardly any surprise as Alfian and Ardianto grabbed the opening game. But the next one was an up-and-down battle as both pairs traded several leads.
The backhand from Ardianto. My goodness, that was good.
The Indonesians dug in and on their third match point gave their country a 2-0 lead.
They've done it.
Ominous stat for China. Never had a country overturned a 2-0 deficit in the Thomas Cup final. Li Shifeng carrying the weight of the nation into the second singles, and his mountainous task just got steeper with a certain Jonathan Christie waiting to pounce. The Indonesian bagged the first 6 points on offer and ended the way he started it. 6 unanswered points to shrug off Li's pursuit.
There's a big gap. Oh, and he makes the error with the next shot, Li Shifeng. And it means that Jonathan Christie takes the opening game 21-14.
But Li, who looks poised to be one of the sport's biggest stars in years to come, refused to buckle.
Yeah, that is awesome play. That's really good play.
A decider beckoned, also the third straight in the knockout phase for Christie. Li led briefly at the halfway point, but neither could really get a grip. And with a seesaw battle locked at 13-all, Christie finally cracked the code.
Fantastic follow-up.
Well, 9.
Christie winning the next 7 points to bring up championship point for Indonesia.
The 19-year wait is over.
Jubilant scenes all around as Indonesia got their hands once again on badminton's most coveted prize in team event. The year 2002 was the last time they won it, and their conquest in Aarhus also extended their record for most Thomas Cup titles to 14. we've come to the end of the TotalEnergies BWF Thomas and Uber Cup Finals review show. Congratulations to the kings and queens of team championships. It's goodbye from Aarhus and see you next year in Bangkok.